Hi everyone, my name is Rajita. I'm lecturer in commerce and working at Government Degree College, Mortad. Is audit process. Let's see the steps of audit process. First, if a company or a firm want to start audit in their company or firm, first they have to appoint an auditor. Then they have to determine the objectives and scope of audit. So whether they have to know and they have to decide for what they are going to conduct audit in their firm, and then they have to know the scope in the sense the importance of audit in their company, and they have to know the knowledge of business clients. If a company has clients for that company, they have to know the information from the clients of the. Then they have to evaluate the accounting system which they are following, whether they are following the accounting system in manual or they are using the computerized accounting systems which are which are very easy to use. And the company has to know the internal control system, because with the internal control, the firm can know the sustainability and the ability of the firm, and they also know about the risk with the audit. If the company doing the process of auditing, they have to take some risk, because each and every transaction should be recorded, and each and every transaction should definitely have evidence in the auditing process. So this is a risk. Risk is nothing but the more work, so they should also know the risk with the audit process in their company. And audit planning and programming. So first of all, when the auditor is appointed, then the auditor has to make a plan how he has to conduct audit in that firm or in that company. So he has to plan the things, the steps which they have to follow while auditing in the company. And programming is nothing but the sequence of work which they have to do while inspecting or investigating the books of the company, and determining the nature, timing and extent of audit. So they have to determine the time in which in which period they have to complete the auditing process. So it depends upon the transactions. It depends upon the company's turnover. If a big company, it needs more time. If it is a small company, less time is needed for the auditing to complete in that company. And then they have to collection of audit evidence. So they also have to collect the evidence which reveals that the auditing process has been completed in that company. That means audit report, and drawing conclusions and making reports. So after findings, there will be different kind of findings while audit program is going on in that company, in every company. So those findings should be given a conclusion and suggestions, and report should be prepared by auditor, and it should be given to directors. This is about the audit process. These are the steps which the company has to follow while they are conducting audit in their company. Next topic is preparation of audit program or audit program. So audit program is a description of memorandum or outline of the work to be done in an audit, and often of the time allotted and personal assignments prepared by the principal as a definition of audit scope, and are by an auditor for the guidance and control of assistance. So here in this program, the outline is written by the auditor. That means what is the scope of the audit in that company, what is the definition for them is audit, and the guidance and control of assistance are decided in that audit program, and each and everything is described in that program. So that means what is the work they are going to do in a audit process for a company is written in proper way. Then let's see the objectives of audit program: to obtain information regarding the accounting system, policies and control techniques of the client. So here they will take the information before they going to conduct audit in that company. So they will be preparing a program. So how they have to do the work? So first of all, what they have to do, they have to collect the information about accounting system and policies, what kind of the policies are they are following. Let's say for example, depreciation is there. For depreciation, what kind of method they are following, and for issues, shares issues, for debenture issues, what kind of policies are they following, and the control techniques, how they are controlling the costs, how they are controlling the production. So these kind of techniques should be obtained from the client, and those will be written in our audit program. And the next thing is to ascertain the extent to which internal control techniques can be banked upon. So the internal techniques what they are following to maintain the production or the other things in the company, and it reveals the capability of the company. So these techniques should be the auditor should ascertain whether the techniques, how they are quite implementable. So these kind of things they have to write in that program before they're going to audit, and lay down the nature, time and extent of audit techniques to be adopted. So depending upon the nature of the company, so the auditor has to adopt the audit techniques and time to conduct audit program in different companies. If we see the manufacturing company, they have to get into the deep details of cost, the raw material things, and the physical goods, the physical raw materials. Each and everything should be verified, because to know the actual result. So depending upon the nature of the company, so it is different for the non-trading organization, it is different for bank, it is different for clubs, so it is different for commercial companies. So depending upon the nature of the company, the auditor has to adopt the auditing techniques to get the maximum and better information from the accounts and from the persons who are dealing with the accounts and other things in the company, and to coordinate the total work. So the total work should be coordinated with the auditor and with his assistants. These are the objectives of audit program before going to conduct the audit program audit in company. Now let's see the good characteristics. Characteristics of good audit program. That means the prepared, fully prepared program characteristics. So explicit and clarity of expression. So there will be a good expression of activities, how they have to do the work, how they have to conduct the audit program, and the segmentation of work in the light of different aspects of accounting. So there will be segmentation, division of work, division of aspects between among the audit and his assistants, and logical flow of accounting documents. So they should think in logical way when they are auditing the account books, and elasticity. So this is the main important thing, because the manual and the computerized definitely will be having the elasticity of amounts and other things. So they should be very careful about review of work after completion. So they have to review the work how they did in the company, and according to the scope of audit, they have to write the audit program, and based on evidences. So whatever the evidence they have according to that they have to prepare the audit program, and recording of movements and accomplishments. So they have to record the movements, how they are going, how they are moving in the company, to get the maximum information, and how to get the maximum evidences for good audit. Now let's see the advantages of audit program, that is a division of work as per ability. So the work will be divided among the assistants depending upon their ability, and determination of responsibilities. So the audit will determine the responsibilities of the assistants which they have to perform while auditing, and progress of work. So the auditor can ask the assistants to report the day-to-day progress in the work, and change of employees wasn't affect work. So the auditor has to look after if he changes the assistant. So he should keep an eye, the work shouldn't affect with the change of employees, and they should maintain uniformity in work. So whatever the responsibility, whatever the work divided among the assistants and auditor, so they should show the uniformity in the work, and protection in court of law. So they have to conduct audit program according to law, so under the law. So they cannot go beyond the law for audit, completion of audit, and complete examination. So the complete examination should done, that means each and every transaction should be inspected, investigated, and time saver. So they also use there will be some time saving, because the division of work and responsibilities, determination of responsibilities with so those can be time saver things in our audit program. And facility of review. So there will be facility of review, because they will be writing the program which they have to going to perform in the audit process. So they can review their work and pursuance of audit principles. So they will be using the audit principles, which makes the work very easy. There are some disadvantages with the audit program. So mechanization of work. So by writing the program, the work will become mechanism, because there will be steps there which they have to follow in the work. So by one, they will be following the steps whatever they written in the audit program. No motivation for free decision, because whatever the process is already written in the program, so they have to follow the written program. So there is no any motivation, there is no any scope for free decision making while they are doing audit, and want of constructive things. So here the program is written becomes a mechanism. So there is no any constructive thinking while audit. Sometimes the auditor and the assistant will need some moral influence while they are doing work, because the audit process is very lengthy process and very detailed process. Sometimes the audit people will need moral influence for their work. So the moral influence cannot be possible with the prepared audit program, and there are some other disadvantages, like planned frauds are undisclosed. So the program, they are just conducting the mechanized auditing in the company, so by preparing audit program. So any planned fraud is there in the company, so that cannot be disclosed, because there is no any constructive thinking. So with that, without constructive thinking, the auditor cannot find out the planned frauds in the company, and disabilities remain concealed. So if the company's disabilities and the auditor disabilities cannot be found out with the audit program, pre-written audit program, and the plea against auditor is also not possible, because there is a program which is written by the auditor to conduct audit in that company. So there is no any scope for plea against auditor. So this is about the audit program, the objectives, characteristics, and advantages and disadvantages. Next topic is audit working papers. So audit working papers are personal written material which an auditor prepares with regard to all audits, and contains techniques adopted by auditors, his decisions and conclusion, and relevant information regarding to the financial statements. Here, these auditor papers are personal papers, which is written by the auditor himself. He will be writing the techniques which he followed in previous audit processes, and his decisions which he made during the audit process, and conclusions which he gave for different situations in different audit processes and in different companies, which he has done audits in different companies, and relevant information regarding financial statements, and he will be noting the relevant information which he can follow in other audit processes. So these are these working papers are personal papers of auditor, which he records the experience of auditor in different audit processes in different companies. And some aspects are there which includes in audit working papers the agreement regarding to the appointment, if the auditor or a letter of appointment. So there will be information about the appointment of auditor in a company, and the technical features of the audited businesses. So already audited business, any technical features are there which they have followed, which they have noticed to complete work fast. So these kind of features will be written in that working papers, and audit program as well as working papers will also include the audit program, and certificates of officials in regarding to such important matters as bad debts, valuation of stocks, and unpaid expenses, and accrued income. These are the contingent things in every company. So these are the most confusing and most difficult things which are to be valued in a proper way by using proper methods. So he will be recording those kind of matters, important matters in audit working papers, and certificate issued by the banks in regard to the bank balance of the client certain date, and safe custody custody of documents. So he will be also writing the details of related to bank balances of companies and documents which is given by the banks to the auditor while auditing in a company, and correspondence between the auditor and the debtors, creditors, and the client. So he will be uh, having the coordination or correspondence while is auditing in a company with the so he will be corresponding the debtors and creditors and the client in the process, and a rough trial balance. So he will be preparing a rough trial balance um, when he audits in the company, and important extract from the minute book. So we will be writing some important things from the company's minute books, so in his working papers to do audit process in an efficient way, and draft final accounts, and final accounts will also be drafted in the working papers, and a copy of the auditor books. So he will be having the auditor books in the working papers. Let's see the objects of keeping audit working papers. So why the audit papers are kept by the auditor? So first, certification of correctness of record and report. So in these papers, the auditor will be writing the correctness and the reports which he has given for the audited company. So will be having those reports in working papers, and use as reference during discussion with the employees. So if he has some techniques, so he can use for again in other company, so while he dealing with employees, and a defensive position of an auditor in case of legal dispute and court proceedings. So he'll be writing all the things which he observed in the company. So these papers can help him to in case of any dispute between the company and auditor, so he can show the working papers, so what actually he is done in that company and what are the findings he got to know in the company, and guide for subsequent examinations. Same company, if he going for the same company, so he can use those papers as reference to conduct examinations in the other company, to coordinate and organize the work of audit clerks. So it will be easy to coordinate, organize the work in between the clerks. Next is ownership of auditing work papers. Who can have the audit work papers? So who will be having the authority to keep them? So let's see. These are the property of auditor, whether prepared by him or presented to him by the owner of the business, and therefore must be kept in safe custody. So as I said, these are the property of auditor, because he will be writing all the findings which he found while auditing in that company. So nobody cannot say that those papers are related to them or some to other persons. So he is completely auditor's property, and filing of auditing working papers is a necessity. Auditor keeps these paper for his defense, reference, future guidance as a proof of use. So as we discussed the objects in objects of working paper, so there is it will be used as a legal reference for auditor if any dispute arises between the company and the auditor. And according to section 2009 of Indian Companies Act 1956, the books of account of a company must be kept safe up to 8 years of their 11th year. So whatever the, for example, if this year auditing is conducted, so these reports should be kept in safe for next 8 years. So these are the working papers, uh, mm, and audit program and audit process. Now, topic is audit notebook. So an important component of audit working paper is audit notebook, basically maintained by the audit clerk, in which he notes down the important points and inquire which he has to refer to the officials or to discuss with the seniors or the auditor himself. So here the notebook is about the things which they have to do later. So while they doing audit, there will be different kind of doubts can be found by the auditor. So what they will do, they will write in a book. So they will be discussing these things later to get the more information about the doubtful aspects and doubtful information. And this audit book is maintained by the clerks most probably, or sometimes himself auditor can also be maintain audit notebook. It helps the auditor to get the more information and to solve the complicated things if he found while auditing the accounts. So here contents of audit notebook. So what they will write in the audit notebook. So technical details about the business. So the clerk or the auditor himself records the technical details about the business. So what they are kind of technology are they using, and what is the techniques they are following for smoothly running business, and queries for which explanation and information have to be demanded. So the queries, there will be different kind of queries while the audit process is going on. So they will be recording those queries in auditor notebook to get the explanation later. And missing voucher and invoices whose duplicate have to be obtained. So if we find any missing vouchers, so you will be noting those kind of things in the notebook to get the evidences later from the company. And fraud and errors found in the books during the course of audit. So if they found any frauds and errors, so they will be recording in our audit notebook. They will be they will be finding, and they will be investigating into those things after audit. And the details to be included in the audit report. So they will be writing the details what they have to write in the audit report. So those things will be noted in that audit book. And notes regarding system of maintaining accounts, what kind of system they are following, whether they're following the manual system or they are following the computerized system. So those details will be written in audit notebook. And names of official who certify bad debts and depreciation. These are the important aspects in every business, because the bad debts and depreciation will differentiate the profit. So the auditor should definitely get a certification and clarification about bad debts and depreciation, and record of all important correspondence. Auditor has to correspondence with debtor, creditor, and the debenture holders and different stakeholders of the company. So he has to record all the correspondence which he communicated with the stakeholders, and total of important ledger accounts. So he has to list out the important ledgers in that company to verify again and to have the further reference in audit process. And progress of audit. work. So he will record the progress of audit work each and every day, how much he has completed and how much he has to complete in the process, and the recording of suggestions made by other audit staff. If more than one person is doing audit, so the auditor will be writing the suggestions which the other audit staff gave to the other auditor. And next, let's see the advantages. Advantages with the audit notebook is defense in the court of law. So as the work papers and the notebook will are useful for defense of auditor in the law, and yardstick of efficiency and diligence and skill of other auditors. So he will be recording all the things. So this will reveals the skills of the auditor and guide for the future. So whatever the findings, whatever the suggestions, whatever the frauds, whatever the mistakes, so total things will be recorded in the audit notebook. So these will guide the auditor for the future, and this future references. So this audit notebook will be useful for the future references when he going for another company or for the different companies for audit. And permanent certificate of audit. This will the audit book will show that the ability and the certificate, the ability of an auditor. So this will certify the audit.